Hi, this is Sideline Jake, and I'm here with 956 Sports. Sorry, I'm just trying to copy another guy that does some stuff in sports down here. He's really good. Anyways, welcome to the predictions, week 3 predictions, and I'm Sideline Jake, and this is End Zone Kevin, and we're going to be going over the predictions for this week, who we think is going to win, who we think is going to lose. And we've got some games out of the Valley this week. Pioneers traveling to Laredo Cigaroa on Thursday. Kevin, who do you have in that game?
I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks taking their first road win of the year, their first game ever that the Pioneer will be at Laredo, considering that 31-5A has 3 new Laredo schools. I'm looking for Jacob Rosales to have a big game. Diamondbacks go 1-0 in district play.
All right, I like Pioneer in this game. I think that they're a really good team. I think that they're finding their way through being one of the favorites in that district. They're trying to, kind of, it's a different kind of situation for them. I like them in this game. I like Pioneer to win. I'm gonna go by 10 on that in this game. Donna High versus La Jolla. This is a Thursday game at La Jolla. Donna's playing La Jolla. La Jolla's winless, but they have played some really good defense.
I'm going to go with the Coyotes in this one. I think Irvin Garcia does something late and gets the Coyotes their first win of the year in front of their home crowd.
All right. How do you watch this? Ben Vasquez says you don't turn it off, Ben. No. Moving on. I like Donna High in this game. I like Donna High, but wouldn't be surprised if La Jolla gets the victory because I just think that La Jolla's defense is playing really well. Donna's offense was struggled last week against PSA North, so we'll see how they do this week. I've got my money on Donna, but I wouldn't be surprised if La Jolla wins this game. I'm going to say it's a 3-point game either way. Economides and Weslaco East on Thursday, battle of two 2-0 teams. Kevin, who do you see in this game?
This is going to be a close one. It's going to be a very physical football game for you old school guys that like hard-hitting football.
The hell, you old school guys.
Old school guys.
You saying I'm old?
No, just old school guys that like to run the ball and play defense. This is the game for you. Could be a quick one. I'm going to have to go with Weslaco East in a close one, but Economides by 3. I think it's going to be really close. It might be one of those weird 16-13 games, possibly considering the way both defenses plays. I'm going to go with Mike Brigette and the Wildcats at home.
I like Weslaco East in this game. I think the strength of schedule favors them. They played McAllen Memorial, a tough game last week. Unless there's a letdown from that, I think Economides loses this game to them, and I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say, you say 3, I say 7. So it's going to be a score, a Lefevre pass. All right. Harlingen South versus Edinburgh North. Harlingen South 2-0 against Edinburgh North 0-2. 0-2, probably one of the better 0-2 teams in the Valley, but they've got to put something to work here because next week, after this week, they play Bella in first district game. So you don't want to go into that game 0-3. So I think Edinburgh North has to win, but my money right now is on Harlingen South and their new coach and coach. Is it Reese or Richie?
I've heard Reese. I've heard Richie.
All right, I'm gonna go.
I'll find out
Reese
tomorrow.
until we find out. Yeah.
I'll find out tomorrow. I apologize, Coach. I promised myself I'd not do this, but I'm gonna have to go with Harlingen South in this one. I feel like I'm a bad luck guy. I've kind of jinxed Edinburgh North in the first 2 weeks. I'm gonna go with Harlingen South this one. I really like what they're doing on offense with the new scheme there. So I'm gonna go with the Hawks on the road to go 3-0.
All right. I'm gonna go. I picked right.
Yes, you
I
did.
picked South. Okay. PSA Memorial versus Brownsville Lopez. Lopez got their first win, last week against Edinburgh. And when I say first win, we're talking about it's been a while. All right, so Brownsville Lopez got that win. The sweater is nice. Also XXL. That's for you.
Oh.
It's hard. PSA Memorial is not playing very well. They don't really have a stacked lineup right now that you could put money on it. I'm actually going to go with the hot team, which is Brownsville Lopez. I don't want to go against Coach Odibe, but I got to go against them this week. I'm going to pick Lopez by 3.
Yeah, I liked what Jason Starkey did last week. They gutted out a tough win against Edinburgh High. they made some plays late on the ground. They had a couple big plays late, and I think that team took that next step as far as maturity goes, where they know what it's like to play in a close game. I did get to see PSJ Memorial last week. It's a very young team, but there are some bright spots for PSJ Memorial. Their defense can hit. That's one thing I did notice. But I'm going to go with Brownsville Lopez in this one.
All right. Going to Friday games, district games first, we'll start with 31-5A. Mission Vets travels to Laredo Martin. I think it's going to be another good game for Diego and the offense. I think that they got too much power. I'm going to go with Mission Vets in this game over Laredo Martin big. I'm saying 17.
Yeah, the homeboy, Jacob Guerrero, he's off to a pretty good start. He had over 200 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns last week in that shootout against the Mission Eagles. But he's just one of many weapons that Mission Veterans has. And I like the veterans to light it up come Friday night, and they'll start 1-0 in district.
All right, Rio played really well, 2-0, beat Zapata last week. They're traveling to Valley View. I'll take this first one because I'm on the Rio bandwagon. I'm taking Rio in this one. I think that Valley View got a win last week, but against Hidalgo. Hidalgo was coming off an emotional high, beating Santa Rosa the week before. I'm going to say that Valley View comes down to earth and Rio wins by 7.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. We talked about what Coach Reyes has done with that offense a couple weeks back, and I like Rio as well to start off 1-0 district play, so I'm going to go with the Rio Grande City Rattlers.
All right, moving on, district play. Laredo Nixon versus Roma at Roma. Nixon looked pretty good.
More interesting than a lot of people realize for. A lot of folks, including myself, really didn't know what to expect with the Laredo schools, and a lot of folks are saying Nixon is probably second, maybe third best in Laredo, maybe even the second best. We don't know yet, but they're a very tough team. They're undefeated. So is Roma, and again, this is the first district game for both these teams, but Roma is at home. They do have a good home crowd. They do got some momentum going. I'm going to go with Roma in this one just because of the fact they like to pound the ball and they play physical defense. They do what Haberger loves to do. I'm going to go with the Gladiators at home in a close, physical game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Roma in this game just because I know that staff. I know those players over there. They're playing really well. Thank you for making noise back there. I think that I'm going to go with Roma in this game. I think that Roma wins by... surprisingly, I think Roma wins by 2 scores. So, next up, Brownsville Hannah versus Mission High. They're traveling to Tom Landry Stadium. Hannah, is going against a Mission High team that put up some points last week against their hometown rival, Mission Vets. Usually those games are pretty god-awful, horrible. They're like 14-10 or 14-7, and there's not much action. Sorry, Rob Bella. Sorry, comment right now. I'll fix that. But I got my money on Mission High in this game, and I think this is their coming out party. This will be Coach Detmer's first win as a head coach, and I think it will be very surprising, the score. I think that they're going to light it up.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one, and stole the words right out of my mouth. And yeah, I do believe Coach Detmer is going to get his first win. It's not going to be easy. Coach Mark Guest is going to have his guys ready to go. 2 first-year head coaches with their programs there. But yeah, Mission High, they're due for a win. I think they're a lot better than what their record speaks for it, and I'm looking for their offense to put up some points, so I'm going to roll with the Eagles in this one.
Ben, you can turn off the computer. We're done with yours. Next up, Brownsville Rivera versus PSJ. This is a tough one. PSJ is playing really well right now. Normally I would go with PSJ, so I'm going to go with PSJ in this game.
Yeah, Guajardo, their young quarterback, is really lighting it up, and that's one thing that Coach Marroquin told me in the beginning of the year, that their quarterback was their bright spot, and he's only a sophomore, I think, this year, and he's third in the district in passing and in rushing, so he's having himself a heck of a year so far, and I'm going to go with PSJ to get the win at home this week against the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that Coach Marroquin's offense is surprisingly good this year. Because last year, no offense to the players that they had, it just didn't flow last year. Now, really good game. Rio Hondo beat Juarez Lincoln last week. Juarez Lincoln looked like a very hot team. Rio Hondo beat them. They're 1-1. They lost to Sinton the first week. They're playing Brownsville St. Joe, who hasn't lost yet. This game is very telling. It'll be very telling. This is probably Brownsville St. Joe's first test of the year, besides Gruya, which should have been more of a test, I thought. I'm going to go with Brownsville St. Joe, but I think this is a low-scoring affair. I think that they didn't score very many points last week against Lifer. They had played some really good defense, one score. I think St. Joe's wins, but I think it's going to be close.
Well, let me start off with low scoring by Brownsville St. Joe standards. Low scoring as in the low 30s, mid 20s.
I really think you're looking at a 28.
So that's low scoring.
That 28.
By their standards, that's low scoring because both teams can put up some points. And historically, Rio Hondo has always had a good defense, and they always play well at home. But again, like Jake said, Brownsville St. Joe just has a lot of weapons. I think Brownsville St. Joe wins this one in a crazy shootout, and I believe we're going to have somebody at this game covering it, so there will be some highlights of this one. Hey, if you like shootouts and if you like points, head on over to Bobcat Stadium to catch Rio Hondo and Brownsville St. Joe, but I'm going to go with the Bloodhounds to win on the road.
All right, next game. Let's look at Brownsville Vets versus Edinburgh Vela. I just got off the phone with David Cantu right before we started filming. He says he's going to kick the crap out of Vela. No, I'm just kidding. He said that he thinks it's going to be a very competitive game. He really likes what Coach Salinas has done at Vela. I really like Vela's team. I really do. However, saying that, I'm going to put my money on Brownsville Vets because they came back from 14 down to beat your alma mater, Edinburgh North. They came back to beat, they controlled the game last week. I just like them. I like them in this game. I think it's going to be very close. It could go to overtime, but I think it's going to be a close game, and I think Brownsville Vets pulls it out. Yeah,
Vasquez has really filled in a spot that Marcus Castillo had for 3 years over at Veterans. Edinburgh Vela, this year they're coming in, we thought, they may take a step back. Instead of doing that, they took a complete step forward. Their offense is just lighting it up week in and week out. My only concern in the big picture, I'm a guy who always likes to look forward on things, and Vela really needs to address what they have on the defensive side of the ball, because yes, they're scoring plenty of points, but they're also giving up their fair share. This one should be a close one. I'm gonna have to go with Edinburgh Vela on this one. They're gonna bounce back. They had a tough win, last second loss to Edcal Chelsea, who is a playoff team. Brownsville Veterans is going to be a playoff team, as it's Edinburgh Vela, but I'm going to go with the home team. That's Edinburgh Vela, this one in a close shootout.
All right. Shout out to everybody right now that's watching us online. Thank you for that. David Martinez, we'll get to your question about how deep we think the Greyhounds will go in the playoffs in a little bit, but let's look at Edinburgh High versus La Jolla Palmview, the battle of 0-2s. Somebody's going to get a victory here. Palmview would have been my pick at the beginning of the year to win this game. Palmview hasn't played very well, and Edinburgh has been in their games, albeit the competition has been as stiff as maybe the last couple of years. But I think that I don't want to jinx it again, but I'm going to pick Edinburgh. I think that they should get the win. They're on the road though, so that's the hard part. Normally, you give that to the home team. I'm going to give it to Edinburgh on this one. I think that they're real close to get the win, and they need this win because they play Economy's first week of district.
Yeah, Edinburgh High, I got to catch the tail end of that game. Well, we both did actually last week against Lopez, and Edinburgh High had it. The game slipped through their fingertips. It had a fourth down. The receiver dropped the ball in the back of the end zone. That would have been the game-winning touchdown for the Bobcats. But this was going to be a little bit fun for Coach J.J. Leja, because where was he before? Palmview. So he's going to kind of have a mini homecoming of sorts. Like Jake said, I don't really want to jinx it, but I think Coach Leja gets his first win as a head coach on the road against his former squad. So looking for Edinburgh High to get their first win of the season. All
right, Harlingen High versus San Antonio Reagan. This is a Reagan team that lost to Laredo United by 3. Laredo United was beaten by San Benito in the first week. I really think that if we're talking, score-wise here, Harlingen should win, but we'll see if it's the Harlingen team that we saw last week, where there's some inconsistencies at the QB position. That's going to hurt. But I like Harlingen in this game. I like it just because they're traveling up there. They're going to have a little chip on their shoulder from last week. I like this. I like it when they lose because they come back harder the next week. I go with Harlingen on this one, not because I'm being a homer, but because I actually have faith in that team.
This one's a hard one to pick. These are two teams that we will be talking about come turkey time. And these are two teams, I think Greg said it well, that are trying to find themselves early on in the season. And we both see the potential in both Reagan and both Harlingen High. Last week was really tough for Harlingen. It was very uncharacteristic of Cardinal football. 5 turnovers, and again, they did not have Leo Tienda in this one. But Harlingen will play tough in this one. Manny Gomez will have his guys ready, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Reagan in this one, in a close one. But I tell you what, if Leo Tienda was in this game, we're having a completely different conversation. And I'm saying that Harlingen, the game is going to be so close that Leo Tienda would be the difference maker in this game, is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to have to go with Reagan in this one. But again, Harlingen is going to compete. They're going to be a good team. And both these teams, I can almost promise you that we'll fast forward to November, and we'll be talking Reagan, Harlingen during Turkey Week.
All right, Hidalgo versus Port Isabel. It's on the road at Tarpon Stadium. Coach Duty, I picked against you last week just kind of for inspiration. But, you've got a brutal schedule. You've played well. You beat Santa Rosa the first week. I don't know if you beat Port Isabel. I'd love for this to be your bulletin board material for the game. So I'm going to pick Port Isabel. I think that I saw them play Mercedes, and I saw them play very well against Mercedes in the scrimmages. I like Port Isabel in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Tarpons in this one. It should be, it should be competitive. Hidalgo, they did get a win last week, and but I'm gonna have to go with the Tarpons in this one at home. It's always tough to play there in Port Isabel.
All right, next game up, La Feria versus CC Veterans Memorial. Nobody knows where CC Veterans Memorial came from, but they're playing a La Feria team who's 2-0, played very well. We saw them this summer play 7-on-7. It's not the same thing, but I'm going to go with La Feria in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with La Feria as well, and I got to follow them a lot in 7-on-7, and like Jake said, I understand it's something different, but in 7-on-7, what people don't realize is this is where the chemistry builds between receivers and quarterbacks and DBs, and you get to see their athleticism with speed and whatnot. So I'm going to go with La Feria in this one, and they will be 3-0 when it's all said and done.
All right. Next up, Juarez Lincoln 1-1, lost to Rio Hondo last week against Donna North 1-1. Who do you have in this game?
I'm going to go with Rokovich and Donna North in this one. I think they're going to feed off of last week's momentum, and Castillo's going to have another big game, so I'm going to go with Donna North, and they are at home in this one, so I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, Coach Rock has done a great job since coming in. Got that victory last week against Laredo Martin, right? Laredo Martin. I think that Juarez Lincoln, there was a big hiccup last week against Rio Hondo. They got taken to the woodshed in that game. I like Juarez Lincoln in this game just because it's a team of juniors that are still trying to find their way, but I think that they're going to get a very tight win over Donna North this week. La Villa versus Santa Gertrudis on the road at Santa Gertrudis High School. Who do you got?
Just go with La Villa in this one. I'll be a homer.
All right. I would love to go with La Villa on this one, but I want to be correct, so I'm going to go Santa Gertrudis on this one. I think they're going to win this game. Moving on, Los Fresnos versus Mackay. Mackay got their win last week against PSJ Memorial. They're playing Los Fresnos, who had a bye last week, but beat Ed Cal Chelsea in week 1 action. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go with Los Fresnos. I think that they've got a talented team. Mark Mata, who hopefully their Max Preps is fixed now. But I like Mark Mata at QB. I've loved Los Fresnos football for a long time. I'm going to go with Los Fresnos in this game, and I think this might feel like that San Benito scrimmage right before the season for Mackay. I mean, I think it could be ugly.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on this one and go with Los Fresnos. And the Falcons did have a week to prepare for Mackay, and they're gonna really look to pick up where they left off in week 3 against the Bulldogs. I did get to see Mac High last week. They're a young team, and they're still, they're wanting to stick to what they do, and that's run the football. And they got some pretty heavy hitters on defense that I did like. And they got a young quarterback there as well. But Mark Mata and the Falcons, they're just an extremely talented team. And again, much like San Benito, they're their rival in that district. We said, who's going to replace who? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? And I think we have an answer, and we found that answer in Mata and company. So I'm going to go with the Falcons in week 3.
All right, Lyford lost last week to St. Joe's. Only scored 7, but their defense played well, and they're playing Raymondville. Raymondville is 0-2 right now. So who do you have?
I'm going to go with Lyford in this one. It's on the road, but I'm going to pick Lyford in this one.
And me too. I think Coach Infante's offense can put the points up, and it seems like their defense is playing well. So shout out to Coach Perez over there.
Win 101, it would be.
Oh,
for Infante. Infante got his 100th win last week. So.
All right. So I'm going to go with Lyford also. Now here, money game of the week:
Yes.
McAllen Memorial versus San Benito. McAllen Memorial is 1-1. San Benito is 2-0. 2 impressive wins. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with the home team in this one, San Benny. Again, I'm going to get to see what all the buzz is about over in San Benito, and they've been lighting some teams up. And I was really kind of going back and forth with the power rankings this week, and once you pointed out to me that
Laredo United.
They beat Laredo United, and the United beat a Reagan, that kind of justified the weekly rankings, and that's what convinced me that San Benito is the best team today, this week in the Valley. And I think they're going to prove that on Friday night. Not that McAllen Memorial won't compete. They will compete. And I'm looking for a fun game, something 35-28, 31-28, somewhere around there. But I'm going to go with the Greyhounds at home.
All right. I'm going to go with purple also. San Benito is going to win. I've got it at about, about 10 points. So I think it's going to be about 10 points. I think that the running game for McAllen is great. And if they're able to chew up clock, they're able to chew up clock. But their runners sometimes break long ones, and the defense kind of stays out there a little longer than probably they want to. But I think San Benito's offense is very even. It's very balanced. I'm going to give the edge to San Benito in this one, I think by 10. Next up, Rowe, 2-0, goes to Porter, 0-2. So who do you have in this one?
We talked about it earlier on what Coach Flores is doing. Porter was a playoff team from a year ago, but I think too much spread, too much Jesus Sanchez. The Warriors are going to get this win at Sam Stadium.
Okay, I like Rowe to go 3-0, and it rhymes, you get it. But they're going to go 3-0 against Porter, and it feeds right into district. So, and their district's kind of cupcake. So, we'll look at that one. But yeah, I got money on Rowe beating Porter. Okay, and we're gonna move on real quick. Just checking comments right now. There's one person I said just get off now. Get off a long time ago. You're supposed to get off. You can stop commenting. But last game, or not last game. Excuse me. Next game.
We got 3 more games.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
yes.
let's save this one for last.
They said you should do this game with a beer. Yes, that would be awesome.
Let's
I teach, so I'd love to, but they're looking for reasons to fire me anyway, so I can't give them any more reasons.
Let's do that one, the big one. Let's do that one last. Let's save that one for last.
Progreso versus Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa got their win last week. Who do you have in this game?
Progreso is looking for their first win, like you said. How they're playing hard, but I think Santa Rosa is going to get this win at home and get their second win of the year.
All right. I'm going to go with Santa Rosa. I really would love to see Progreso get off that 0-2, get off the winless list. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But if there was a game for them to win one, it's this game right now.
This next one's really interesting, Jake. PSJ Southwest and Gruya. Because we know what Gruya can do on offense. Yeah. And PSJ Southwest really surprised some people. You know what? I'm going to go with PSJ Southwest in this one. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but PSJ Southwest is, a lot better.
They're 6A. You're talking 6A.
Yeah, and they're a lot better than people think this year. And I think this just might be that year where PSJ Southwest puts those pieces of the puzzles together and they get what people say a staple win on the road. But Gruya, they're a tough team. They're a senior written team. So I'm going to go with the Javelinas in this one.
No, I talked to Greg Selber, he went to Gruya versus St. Joe's. I like, by the way, it's vodka. I like Gruya in this game because they were able to put up points against St. Joe. If they're putting up points, even though I think Southwestern scored two, you're talking about two running attacks, with a little bit of pass in Gruya. But I'm going to go with Gruya in this game. I think that Gruya pulls the upset. It'd be a very shocking upset, too, just to beat a 6A. But I'm going to go with that. And our last game, I can't chill, by the way, for that comment. But Mercedes versus Weslaco. We've been around Mercedes a lot lately. I do the games over there this year. Mercedes is waiting to explode, but they're going against a team in Weslaco that exploded last week in San Antonio against San Antonio Marshall. So I don't know. Who do you have in this game?
You go first. I'll let you take it.
All right, I'm actually going to take Mercedes in this game. I think their offense is waiting to come alive. Their defense didn't play as well as I thought they could have played against Nicky Rowe, but Nicky Rowe is better than what we expected. So I'm going to go with Mercedes in this game. It all depends on who's playing where, because they need some consistency at the helm, and we'll see who's playing what position this week. But when they have their full complement of receivers to go along with the running game really hasn't taken off just yet. But I think they're ready. And you spoke with Roger Adame III this week, and he thought the defense was ready. So I'm going to go with Mercedes in this game, but I wouldn't. It's going to be close. I mean, we're talking about 3 points.
Yes. So Mercedes is 0-2, Jake, and I did get to catch up with the Tigers this week, and a few years ago we had Brownsville Rivera, I think, go 0-6 for a stretch, and myself and Joe were saying that this is the most dangerous 0-3 team, 0-5 team, 0-6 team, and for sure enough, Rivera made it 3 rounds deep. Not that Mercedes is going to go 0-6. They're not going to. They're better than that. But this team, like you said, is waiting to explode, waiting to show what they are truly made of. And at their practice, Coach Adame gave his boys a speech after practice. I'm not really going to get into details of it, but it was one of those speeches that made me want to get up and go. I'm not a football player, nowhere close, but I was like, wow. I told Coach Adame, I think that will get them going. And this practice, I saw more intensity, I saw more focus than I'd ever seen before. And you're asking about the consistency. I think from here on out, we're going to see that consistency. And I was talking to one of the coaches, and he was saying it's all about getting back to the table. They kicked us off the table, and now we got to get back on it. It's going to be at Weslaco, and Coach Adame told me, he said, we knew and we told the kids very well that this non-district schedule is going to be very tough, and we can come out 0-3 out of this. And that's the reason why they did it, to make it tough. And he said, Weslaco, they packed their house. It's going to be a playoff-like atmosphere for these guys. And I truly believe in what Mercedes is doing, and they're the best 0-2 team. Even if they lose Friday night, they're still going to be the best 0-3 team out there. I like Mercedes in this one on the road. This is going to be the game that gets these Tigers going, because if they don't get this done, it's going to be a long 2 weeks before they kick off district play against Donna. So I'm going to go with Mercedes in this one. Again, it's going to be that game that gets that train rolling over there in Mercedes.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our picks are done for the week. Week 3 action is
tomorrow night?
Yeah, about 22 hours away. So expect some fireworks for some teams, and expect some teams are going to be biting their nails because they're 0-2 and they don't want to go 0-3. So for Kevin Nuttall, I'm Jake Berry. Thanks for watching the predictions, and we'll be back next week with more predictions. And for that special somebody, you don't have to watch. Thanks. Bye.